So, good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to this first Women's EHF Champions League Hangout this year. Also, welcome to this first lunchtime Hangout that we are hosting. I hope you don't mind the time. I hope you had your lunch break already and are ready to follow us now here in our Hangout. Apologies that we started a bit late. We had some small technical difficulties. That's also the reason why we only have 2 guests at the moment. I hope 2 more will join us later on. But I'm very happy to say hello and welcome to our special guest today, Nycke Groot, the Györ centre backs who joins us today. Hi, Nycke. How are you?
Hi, I'm good. Thank you for having me.
Well, thanks for making yourself available, I would say. Already talking in Danish to our former in Denmark playing Nycke Groot is our Danish Scandinavian correspondent, Peter Bruin. Hi, Peter. How are you?
Hi, I'm fine, thanks, and I hope everybody is also fine and satisfied after a good lunch. I can say for myself that I am.
Well, I have to ask you, did you have time for your lunch break, or is that being postponed for after this hangout now?
Me?
Yeah.
No, I haven't had lunch yet. I had a late breakfast, so I'm waiting after.
Late breakfast hangout, perfect. Well, it's you know, the quarterfinals are upon us. The first game is already tonight, happening in Romania. But Nycke, as you're here with us, let's have a look and let's have a bit of a preview of your game against FTC on the weekend. I mean, you know each other so well, like these 2 teams. I mean, what is there that you don't know, maybe, if there is anything at all?
Oh, I don't know. I think it's when we play against FTC, it's always such a good fight, and you know what to expect, and you know how they play. So I don't know if there are things that we don't know, but yeah, I really look forward to play against them.
I mean, a few months ago, even your 2 coaches started coaching together. I mean, not the 2 clubs, but at least the Hungarian national team.
Yes. Yeah, I told Ambrose that he shouldn't give any secrets away, so I hope he didn't.
How much did you learn from the game 5 days ago? I think you played them in the Hungarian league, and it was a very clear win for you, using a 33-22. How much is that a telltale sign of what is there to come in Davos on the weekend?
For us, I think it was a good game. We played very well, but you cannot compare these games to each other. I think they will come with so much more in the next 2 games, and so it was kind of not so important game, but of course for our confidence, it was very good.
Just trying to welcome Nemanja Savic here, who's joined. That sounded much better. Could we hear him?
Brooks. Yeah, I got my voice back again.
Good. Thanks. Hi, Nemanja. Nemanja was one of the reasons why we started a bit late, as we had technical difficulties. Anyhow, Peter, talking about Nycke a bit, our special guest today. She played in Denmark up until last season. You obviously had the opportunity to follow her career quite closely. You're also one of our Champions League correspondents. How would you rate her season and her development in Györ since she moved to Hungary?
Well, I think Nycke has developed even further. If that was, I might not have even thought that possible, considering her performances with FC Midtjylland as she played there. But I think she has built another layer, another step on her, especially on her attacking play, at least based on the matches I've seen with her, which have, of course, mainly been the Champions League matches. I'm really impressed how fast she has got integrated in the team and in Györ's way of playing. And the way I see it, I definitely see her as a reinforcement for Györ. And for some of the other media, a couple of Champions League, I have awarded her player of the match several times when Györ have been involved. So I really think she has been a great asset, a great win to Györ, just as anyone that one could expect. I don't know how she feels about it, but it seems to me that she has got adjusted into the team and into the club very fast, and really has meant an improvement in the Györ team. And of course, she has become even more crucial considering that Györ have had two playmakers injured for most of the season. That has made her even more crucial to the team.
Nycke, how has it been for you, just from a personal point of view in Györ? I mean, you joined the club in August, so it's been like 3/4 of a year now roughly. I think you've scored about 40 goals, 39 goals in the Champions League, but that's numbers obviously only. So
I think I've had my ups and downs. For me, I feel like it took a while to get into the team and to show also here what I can do and how I can play. But now I feel good. I say I know the other players, and it's easier for me to play together with them.
Nemanja, how have you observed Györ's season so far? Nycke, maybe for you to know, Nemanja is very close to Budapest geographically. He also, as our Balkan correspondent, talks a lot to Dragan Acic. And you were obviously one of the few who could beat Budapest this season. So Nemanja, from your point of view, how would you rate your season so far?
Well, ups and downs is probably the best description I can give about your season. They obviously have quality. They have vastly reconstructed the team in the summer, and players like Nycke came in, and obviously a whole lot of talent came into the team. But you need time for it to blend. And I think that the further the season progresses, we're going to see more from Györ, and this is pretty much the part of the season when Györ will start to shine. I really do believe that. Apparently, they've had problems with injuries. They had problems with settling in with some players, and I've seen Nycke progressing even beyond what I've expected from her. Watching her at Midtjylland, you thought, how far can she go? This is pretty much the perfect team play, perfect middle back playmaking. But you've seen her recently at Györ, just see a vastly improved player in a very competitive surroundings, and that's pretty much synonymous with the Györ team. I think that as much as their players can improve their role in the team will progress further. Final Four, definitely. I can already say that.
Nycke, do you also feel that in the team that now that we're obviously, when it comes to the Champions League, we're approaching the very decisive stages of this competition, that the excitement, so to say, grows within the team as Nemanja puts it, the star starts to shine, especially considering that they missed out on the Final Four in Budapest last year? Yeah,
definitely. When April starts, the fun games are going to start both in Champions League and the Hungarian League. So I feel that everyone is really ready, and yeah, we really want to be there. As you say, it's in Budapest, so I think the atmosphere will be amazing if all the Györ fans will be there. So I think that we are ready, and we are very devoted to get to the Final Four.
So, how do you prepare differently? Like also from a personal point of view for these kind of fun games, as you just call them?
I don't think the preparation is any different. I just think that we just train a lot, and we train a lot together. So we get we play well together, and I don't think it's so much different now from the beginning of the season.
Peter, let's have a closer look at this quarterfinal. I mean, how do you see it panning out? I mean, we had we just talked about it, Györ FTC game 5 days ago, and Györ took like a 33-22 win in the Hungarian league. But obviously, FTC is very strong at home. When you look at the Champions League results, what's your opinion on this?
Well, I'm sure that there's a lot of mental aspects in this meeting. not only due to the ongoing rivalry in Hungarian top handball between Györ and FTC, but also bearing in mind what happened last season. That was, of course, before Nycke joined, but that was when FTC actually took the championship, so to speak, under the nose of Györ. And before the start of the season, Martin Ambrose, Györ coach, actually told me that the fact that they had lost the Hungarian championship to FTC had been such a severe blow to their mentality, to their self-confidence, that he actually saw it as a reason why they missed qualifying for the Final Four of the Champions League. So I think that Györ will be very cautious again before meeting FTC once again. And I don't think that this 11-goal win for Györ in the league will mean all that much for this match. It's a totally different match, a totally different meeting with so much more at stake with regards to qualifying to the Final Four, of course, and being the Hungarian representative on home ground, but also in this rivalry and in the mental balance or the mental relationship between these two clubs, who has the hand mentally. There's so many aspects at stake in these matches. So it's really, to me, it's the quarterfinal tie which is most difficult to predict of all the four ties we have at hand.
I just have to say, I think I had some technical difficulties here on my side. I think I just left you, but I got the beginning and I got the end. You got all of it?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, good.
I hope I understood too.
Again, apologies for these technical difficulties we have today. Nemanja, you look at the quarterfinal FTC against Györ, picking up from what Peter just said.
Well, FTC Ferencváros is one of the pleasant surprises of this season, and I really do think that it's a huge prize for them to win against the domestic rival Györ and try to make it to the Final Four. But obviously, it's not going to be any easy. Peter just said that they've defeated the FTC, like 11 goals difference was it. But it's a league game, and it doesn't have to mean that much in comparison with the Champions League. I couldn't agree more with Peter. It's a completely different mindset when you compare the league to the Champions League, and I think since the first game is going to be played on the home ground of FTC, it's going to be a tough one. But Györ has a slight edge because they have the opportunity to bring the decisive tie to their own home court, which we all know how tough can be to defeat Györ at home. It's going to be the furthest thing from all said and done, because FTC, as I've said, they have a huge momentum. They have a huge momentum in domestic competition. They have a huge momentum in the Champions League. They have informed players nobody counts upon, and that's the worst thing you can have in the later stages of the Champions League. Let me tell you, the worst thing you can have is the surprise player that can decide the game. You pretty much don't know about the girl, and she comes in and scores 4 or 5 key goals. But that's what FTC is all about. They have a world-class right back. They have the girl who scores penalties, the young one, and the amazing goalkeeper, even though Katarina Tomašević is injured. So they have it all. How much will they do to make it count? It's upon them. So we'll see. But it's going to be a tough one.
Can you feel, Nycke, that this is like a special game in Hungarian handball as well? Is there like a lot of talk in the media about it, and because it's like the national rivalry that now continues on the European stage?
Yeah, definitely. Before we knew that we were going to play against FTC, I didn't felt it so much because I've only been here for half a year. But after that, you feel in the media and from other people how much this game means for the people here in Györ, and also I think for the people in Ferencváros. So it's going to be such a good game. I think the fight is going to be really good.
There's extra motivation.
Yes, definitely. When you hear them talk about us and how we talk about them, it's just it's going to be a good fight.
What's the talk of town at the moment when we talk about them and they talk about us?
The problem of the foreign players, and so we are ready.
Peter, you said this quarterfinal tie is one of the hardest to predict. Let's have a look maybe at Bucuresti against Rostov-Don, and the game that's already being played tonight. Is that easier to predict from your point of view? I mean, it's the unbeaten Rostov against the only fourth-ranked team from Bucharest, or is there more to it?
Of course, there's more to it than just pointing out Rostov as winners, which would of course be the easiest thing to do. And I would not hide the fact that I do see Rostov as overall favourites over 2 matches. But there are also interesting things to this meeting. For instance, the clash between the Danish coaches Kim Rasmussen by Bucharest and Jan Leslie of Rostov. So. There really is several interesting aspects to that match. Also the fact that Rostov are finishing at home, usually you see that as an advantage to have the decisive that second leg at home. But I've spoken to Rostov coach Jan Leslie several times about this aspect, and he's always said that he prefers actually to start at home. I don't know if he's changed his mind in the meantime. I haven't had the chance to discuss that with him lately, but that might be interesting also, that he might be one of the very few coaches who would actually like to start at home. At least he has not got his wish granted this time. But there's no doubt that I expect undefeated Rostov to go on as undefeated. Of course, we may have a tight game in Bucharest tonight, still with a small edge to Rostov, I would say. But over 2 matches, having the second leg at home, I believe that the Champions League debutants Rostov will go on thrilling us and make it directly to the Final Four.
Hmm. How did you see, like, especially Bucuresti, Nycke, like the team you played against twice?
Yeah, they have so many good players. I think it's going to be a very close game with the 2 of them. But I agree with Peter. I think that over the 2 games, I think Rostov is going to make it to the Final Four.
Nemanja, can I count on you to increase the odds for Bucharest a bit?
Well, I can say that I'm a huge fan of Bucharest, but I'm gonna have to agree with Nycke and Peter and say Rostov. But I'm a huge fan of the playing aesthetics at Bucharest, because if you're ever going to see Danish handball out of Denmark, it was spells of Vardar game last season and the Bucharest this season. It's what they're doing is wonderful, and I think that's the way to go. It's kind of a handball I like to see. It's kind of handball that Midtjylland played when Nycke was playing there. But I can't look past Rostov at this point. It's going to be close, but I can't look past them. I'm going to have to say that the quarterfinal is going to be the first really big test for Rostov in the Champions League, because they have built a huge momentum, but I don't think that they've been tested enough for us to see how far this team can go and what's their real quality when the decisive matches come. So I'm looking forward to this one.
Is that, looking one step further, do you think that could be a potential disadvantage for them coming then into the Final Four, that they maybe have not been tested, or do you think, despite your thought that they will advance, that they will be tested now by Bucuresti?
Definitely, and I'm going to say it's going to be an advantage for Bucharest because they've been vigorously tested. Just to take a look at what happened in Bucuresti, so huge match.
Looking at the quarterfinal between Vardar and Larvik, I mean, we have 2 Final Four participants here from last year, and but look at you, Nemanja. I think this game is maybe not that easy, or at least the final outcome is not that easy to predict. Or would you disagree with me?
Well, you know what they say. You can you play perfectly at the late games in the main round, and you've done so much to climb to the third spot in the group, and you draw Larvik, and you say, "Oh, come on, could it be a more favorable draw?" But I say that Vardar are very much lucky that they haven't drawn FTC, for example, because it's far more tricky than Larvik for them. especially playing the first one in Macedonia. There's a thing that Andrea Lekic has never lost against Larvik, never in her career. So that might be the decisive difference, and you should never underestimate the kind of small traditions and the winning run of the Champions League. I'm giving the edge to Vardar, but obviously it would have been easier to play the second one in Giannis and Dansky, but who knows if they win with enough goals, you know, there's a chance for them to go through. Even though Larvik at home, Peter can tell us how tough that is.
Before we go on, I want to welcome Adrian Castello, our Romanian journalist, who I think had to create a new account to be able to join us. And if I look at the background, it seems as if he also left his apartment to be able to join us. That's a lot of effort, Adrian.
Yeah, you know, CSM Bucharest plays today, so I'm near the hall right now. Because I've tried on my laptop to get to this Hangout, I didn't manage. Now I'm on my phone, so hello to all.
It's beautiful. It's beautiful, beautiful sound, and very good quality. Well, thanks for going all through these efforts. And Adrian, to get you straight in here, we obviously talked already a lot about FTC against Györ, that quarterfinal. But we just before you joined, we were talking about tonight's first game, Bucuresti against Rostov, and yeah, well, Bucuresti's chances were dismissed, and as you say, you're so close to the hall. I hope you can give us some disagreement and say, well, actually, Bucuresti's chances are.
Adrian, can you feel the buzz? Can you feel the warmth?
Well, Bucharest chances are exist. Everything can happen in handball, but yeah, Rostov should be the team that goes through because CSM has a lot on their plate. Had a lot on their plate this season. Change of coach during September when Kim Rasmussen came. After that, a lot of injuries that marred the team's performance. So I think. CSM is not in the best shape right now. Also, with a lot of players leaving next season. This refers to Maisa Pessoa, to Fernanda Franca da Silva, to Ana Paula Rodriguez, and so on. But they have Line Jørgensen back, and this is a plus for them. And I think they can do something here in Bucharest. But in Rostov, it will be very harder because they also had some bad games in their away games.
But it's a unique chance for the team, isn't it?
Can you repeat that, please?
I said it's a unique chance for the team. I mean, that quarterfinal now, and
well, they have a great plan into the next season. So I think they could do something better in the next season, but. The team has to stick together. I think they lacked this quality in the main round. It could be seen against Györ, against Vardar, that they didn't play as a team as well as Romania, let's say, because Romania had a great final World Championship in the last games, in the quarterfinals, in the semi-final against Norway. And that was because they were a team. Right now, CSM doesn't look like a team.
Nycke, and I want to urge all of the viewers who are following this Hangout now to do the same. We're getting a few questions here on our EHFCL Twitter account, and they are all for you, Nycke. So please, all other viewers, tweet us at EHFCL, and we will ask you questions, as you can see straight away. Nycke, a question from Streck Spiller, streckspiller.com site. How is Györ going to stop Nerea Pena?
Yeah, that's a good question. I think our defense is going to be the key to the victory. And Nerea has played a very, very good season and is very dangerous in every facet of the game. But I feel that we had a good grip on her last game, and we need to look some more video and analyze a little bit more.
When you do this kind of preparation, how much do you focus as the team as an entity when you face them, or how much do you focus on single players?
On the single players, you look at the way they move, if there's a pattern in their actions, and what they like to do more. And for the team, you just look at the systems. What do they want to achieve with the system? Do they want to shoot, or do they want to play the 1-by-1? And yeah, that's how you just analyze.
And the second question, which picks up straight from where Emmanuel left. What do you think about the quarterfinal Vardar against Larvik? Who will advance of these two teams to the finals?
I'm sorry, I didn't hear you.
Of the quarterfinal Vardar against Larvik, who will advance to the final four of those two teams?
It's gonna be a tough one. I think if Larvik stands good in defense, they're impossible to stop in their contra attack. Then again, Vardar has very good individual players, so they need to stop them first. I think Vardar is going to go to the final four.
Peter, who do you think will, or what do you think will prevail? Like the individual class of Vardar or Larvik's team play? But just like,
I would say this tie is almost as difficult to predict as FTC versus Györ. It's the way I see it, two teams who have very different conditions and have very different seasons. In Larvik's case, they've had in many ways a troublesome and turbulent season, starting out with financial trouble and limited squad as a result of this, and on the way through, they've had several injury problems. On top of this, they've had Nycke out on maternity leave. Those players are starting to come back now, but still I'm full of admiration for what Tor Ramon has been able to do as new head coach, or as comeback head coach more correctly, with his team so far in the Champions League. They are still facing some personnel problems ahead of at least their business in Christine Nycke, who has started playing again, but she can only contribute for smaller parts of the matches. Left back, Polish left back, Alina Vogt is still out after her cruciate ligament injury, and there's also doubt about Anja Hammersing due to a thumb injury. So they're still pretty hardly hit by injury, but it's a bit amazing to see how one player after another has popped up to fill out the space or the gap from those who have been injured. For instance, on the left back position at the start of the season, we saw Christine Breistrup all of a sudden popping up. When she was a bit down, then we saw the veteran Tina Stange suddenly popping up in the last matches of the main round. So they have been very good at replacing those who have been. What will be the starting will manage to obviously get under, which will definitely be more heavier than what Vardar will get under in the arena Larvik. I see a small edge to Vardar, but I would definitely not rule out Larvik's chances to proceed to the final four once again.
Adrian, before you get blown away by the wind that seems to be quite strong in Bucharest, what's your quick stand on the Vardar against Larvik quarterfinal?
Well, I think Vardar has shown us in the last 2 years that they can play really, really great when they are playing again as a team. But I think they are making way too many mistakes, and they are on and off. They are not consistent, and this would hamper their chances. But I will have to give the edge to Vardar, because I think they are better. I think even more experienced there than Larvik, and with great firepower in the 9-meter line. So I think that Vardar will have the edge. But I think it's the most open game in the quarterfinals.
So if that is open, what do you think about the second Romanian team in the competition, Baia, who face, well, not an easy draw?
Well, should I say the truth or the politically correct
yeah,
thing?
of course the truth. What do you think?
I think Baia has zero chance to progress into the Final Four this year. Last year they had a great draw against Dinamo Volgograd, but they blew it in Volgograd. Now they face Budućnost, and I think they stand no chance. First of all, they have a lot of injuries. Adriana Nekita, Melinda Geiger, and Gabriela Such are definitely out for this game. Such broke her hand against Roman last week, and Geiger has a knee problem, so she won't play until the end of the season. Also, they are having a bit of financial problem. They are in turmoil, and many of the girls will leave. There are certain players who already signed for another clubs, like Lois Sabing. I think Nycke knows that very good. So I think Baia doesn't stand a chance. Also, it was a bit of a shocker to see Paula Ungureanu being booed by her own fans because they thought that she didn't play well on purpose against Corona Brașov in March. So I think they really stand no chance, and Budućnost will have a clear path through to the Final Four.
Nemanja is, I mean, if there's like a trademark of consistency, I think then Budućnost comes very close. Are they stronger than, like, compare them to last season? I mean, now that we're getting that close to the Final Four again. Is that a team that can win again? Or
if there was one season that I doubted Budućnost title winning credential, this is the season. Even the first season of the EHF Final Four wins, I thought that Budućnost just might win it with a bit of luck and with a bit of circumstances going their way. But this season is going to be much different for them because it's a little bit different team, and they're on the crossroads. And this generation of players is slowly stepping down, and some youngsters are stepping up. With regards to that, we've seen Agic favoring the younger players like Jelkovic, and we've seen Agic trying to implement them as soon as possible into the team. The way the season has unfolded for Budućnost, it's been favorable for them, and it's been a favorable draw to draw Baia, but the Final Four is going to be a whole different story. They need to kick it up a notch in order to try and be within a chance to repeat their success again. Once again, they've been tormented by injuries as well, and the World Championship didn't help also because it can set the momentum of the season because it comes right midway through the season. But it can also stifle players that have already been fatigued, like Katarina Bulatovic and the older players in the team. Obviously, when you look at Budućnost, you just simply can't overlook them for even the final. But I'm going to have to say that there are teams that they are able to Györ can beat them if they're on their game. Vardar can even beat them. Because, as I've said before, you should never underestimate the end of the winning run. You should never let the team defeat you if you're going to face them again in the same competition. Well, it's a little bit more shaky than it was for Budućnost right now. They have a new goalkeeper in the team. She contributes well. They have Nelly Irman, the Slovenian, on the right wing. She's a very good substitute for Radmila Petrovic. But I think it's in comparison to the last season, when everything was said and done for Budućnost to become champions, this season is far more uncertain.
But will that show already in these quarterfinals, or do you agree with Adrian that the quarterfinals is reasonably done and dusted affair?
Well, it is, but reasonably to an extent, because what Bucuresti likes to do is that they want to time their form for the key matches. They want to time their form for any schedule, whatever comes up in the season. They want to be ready for it. So if they feel in the first 15 or 20 minutes that they can defeat Bayern with ease, which I think they will not, they'll probably kick it down a notch and maybe try to implement something new, because I've just told you they need variety in their game, and is even willing to sacrifice results for the short term to be able to add variety in the long term, because their defense is solid, but it's only one defense. You can always find a way through those two-dimensional teams. But they're trying to implement 5-1 defense. They're trying to implement more variety in the offense. They're trying more play more variety in their semi-counter, which is lethal as it is. You see, Majda Mehmedovic has already signed for a Romanian team. She's leading. So something is going on. It's a transitional process that we're going to see the end of in the next season. But this season we're seeing some signs that things are moving. In which direction we can see the Final Four, but things are moving in Podgorica.
Nycke, what was it like for you playing against Budućnost in the main round?
I think our first game we played very well. Everyone came back from the national team and had a lot of confidence, and yeah, we just played a very good game. In the away game, we know that their defense is incredibly strong, and it's definitely one of their strengths. So we knew it was going to be a tough game. I think we didn't play well. We had a lot of problems in our attack, but we managed to keep on going and make it a close game. But I think that when they can still have a good defense, that's going to be the main key for them.
Assuming that you, obviously, as Györ, want to reach the Final Four, would you consider them as your main rival in this competition?
Yeah, I think so. I think, as you said, they've been very stable for the last few years, and they still have the same players. So the same system, the same, they know each other very well. So I think that they're definitely the team to beat.
Peter, do you agree with what the others said before you, that from this last quarterfinal we talked about, Budućnost will go to Budapest?
Absolutely. I admire Bayern for having reached the quarterfinal for the second for the second season in succession, and for the second season in succession after entering the main round with 0 points from the group phase. But I'm pretty sure that this will be it for Bayern. I don't see them passing by Budućnost. Not being the expert of Budućnost like Nemanja is, I still see so much quality and so much strength in Budućnost that I don't expect them to have much trouble over 2 matches against Bayern.
As we've kind of talked through all quarterfinals, it's good custom here that we finish with a Final Four prediction, which teams are going to reach it. Nycke, I'll leave you out of that. You don't have to predict whether Györ or FTC reach the Final Four. But I've got another question for you, so don't leave us yet. Peter, looking at the quarterfinals, which teams will make the Final Four?
Well, if I'm not mistaken, before the season even started, one of the first hangouts, I think I predicted that Rostov Don, Budućnost, and Györ and Larvik would make it to the Final Four. Maybe I'll have to change my prediction on one team. I've already said that I give a small edge to Vardar in the tie against Larvik. So right now my bid would be Rostov, Budućnost, Györ, and Vardar to make it to Budapest.
Rostov, Budućnost, Vardar, and Györ. Okay, Nemanja?
Exactly the same. All the visiting sides in the first leg, bar one. So yeah, Rostov, Budućnost, Vardar, and Györ.
Okay, Adrian.
I wouldn't change a thing to what Nemanja and Peter said. They are the best teams. These are the best teams, and I think they will go through. Vardar, Larvik, and Györ FTC will be the main headliners for this quarterfinal phase. Also, Chesemek can do some damage, but I think they are clearly not ready to beat a team such as good as Rostov.
Yes, one thing you should keep note about regarding the Vardar against Larvik game is that several Vardar players are not flying on the airplane anymore. They had a very tough time flying. I think it was in Norway or Sweden last season, or I don't know what it is, but I've met Jovanka Radicevic at the final for last season, and she told me, I'm never setting foot in the airplane again. I'm using my own car. So I said, good luck with that going to Larvik. But yeah, and we should not underestimate the changes that Vardar underwent, and I'm looking forward to see them. David Davis has been the new consultant in the team, and you know some changes have been implemented, so it's a bit different team. I can already say it's going to be a surprise when they make it to the Final Four, which I believe they will.
So, Nycke, first of all, I want to share a comment from a user called Andrea Reyna with you, and she just tweeted us here. I just want to thank you, Nycke Groot, for your amazing handball.
Very nice.
And so the question for you, we have, and that goes out to all fans as well, starting next Tuesday, we have the vote open for the Women's EHF Champions League AllStar Team again. There'll be all 7 positions obviously on vote, as well as the best defender, the best young player, and the best coach. So, Nycke, and there's one position that's not for vote, which is the MVP. And I'm just rephrasing like a user question here, who asked for your favorite female player and your favorite male player. But maybe you can say, if you look at the Women's EHF Champions League season, who's been your MVP?
Oh, that's a tough question. I think there are several players that have done very well this season. I think Andrea Penicic has had a very good season. Yeah, but I have to go with Kristina Niagu.
Okay, thank you. And to finish that question, the second part, who would you vote as? Well, do you have a favorite male player, to keep the question as it was?
I think I really like how Nikola Karabatic plays.
Okay. Well, guys and ladies, it's been a pleasure talking to you. Nycke, thank you very much for joining us. All the best for the quarterfinals. I mean, I don't know well, the predictions obviously have no power, no influence on the outcome of the court, but they were very much in favor for you. We're looking very much forward to all 4 quarterfinals this week and the weekend, and obviously for the return legs the weekend after. Stay tuned for the vote of the All-Star team starting on Tuesday. Thanks a lot for joining us today, and hope to see you again next time. Thank you. And bye-bye.
Thank you, everybody. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.